Hello, everybody. My name here is Dave Medina, and we are about to do our random question show with Andy in Seattle. That's coming up in 3 minutes, and I just started the stream a little early so that everybody can get a chance to settle in and get some questions into the chat. So if you're watching us now, thank you very much for joining us on the program, and we'll go ahead and take your questions and queue them up and answer them in order, just like we usually do on random questions. I am hoping, by the way, our friend Kevin on the Cape can join us in the chat tonight if you're watching this thing live on YouTube. I think it'll be really cool if he can hang in there, but I'm not sure. We'll see. But that we do know that Andy should be in the mix in a couple minutes. If he's a little late, it's okay. I can wing it until then. But we should be in for a pretty good show. It's a very, very low key show, relaxed show. I've got some beer in me. I think this will be a lot of fun. So glad to have you with us, everybody. Just make sure that you enjoy yourself, enjoy all the games, and we should be in a good spot. So settle back. If you have any questions, you can tweet us at ditcow. And if you haven't subscribed already, subscribe to us right here. If you're on YouTube, definitely subscribe to us. The button to subscribe is right underneath the video feed, and we'll really appreciate your company. So it shall be a fun night tonight. We're gonna get into some golf. We're getting into some let's see. Oh yeah, Seattle barbecue. A lot of interesting stuff going on that we can get into here on the program. So thanks for your continued support. We'll start the show in just a minute. Doc Rivers continues to time and time again not get it when it comes to getting. Oh, let him play.
You bet one bone to win 19. What site do you use where you can actually bet $1?
They let you do 50-cent bets.
Oh my goodness gracious!
Yeah, literally, like he dropped Superman down like the drain, comes out, he's like, God damn it, Superman. I don't know, honey. I don't know where he got that from.
From Los Angeles, this is Dave in the City.
Part of the Dit Cow Sports Network.
Now, here's Dave Medina.
Good evening, sports fans, and a pleasure to have you here for the big random question show. Good to have you with us from the Dave in the City studios at the home of champion Southern California, the home of the Lakers, the home of the Dodgers, and the home of many great fine eats, near and far. You know, fancy and expensive, but also cheap and enjoyable. It's a good place to be, especially if you're in a good spot. Give or take a few nuances, like I have here where I live today. It's a good time. So tonight on the program, we're gonna have our friend Andy in Seattle joining us, and we're gonna have a very, very, very informal random questions program. And we're going to talk about golf. We're going to talk about barbecue. We're going to talk about everything that's going on in his life and mine. And, a few other promotional aspects. We'll get into what's happening with the general life. And we'll get into what's happening with the baseball. It should be a really fun time. So let's not waste any more time. Andy's just joined us right now. And as we do this, I do want to make a note on our new technical upgrade. We are now streaming this program at 1080p. So, I mean, you probably won't even notice a difference, honestly, if you're watching like on a on an iPad or something like that. But this is in fact now a 1080p show, and hopefully it shows in the video quality of this program. So So Andy's joined us, and we look forward to hearing from him. And let's go ahead and start. This is exciting. We haven't had a chance to catch up with Andy in a while, so let's do it on America's favorite moment in sports talk podcasting.
Do the dance.
One more time. We'll do that again.
Do the dance. It's time for random questions. Good stuff. In the city with Kevin on the Cape.
And I make sure to do that timing because we gotta get everything synchronized. Andy, it's good to have you back, man. Is a little audio coming? Ooh, a little audio coming from my. Okay, Andy, can you hear me? Okay.
I can hear you, and I also hear a little like that noise.
Yeah, I have actually been struggling with that a little bit lately. Like the.
It's so good. It doesn't bother me. It's like. I don't know if you ever played guitar or RD play guitar, but reminds me if you had like a little amplifier and then like the cord that you plug into the amplifier gets a little close.
Right.
But I don't know. Captain didn't have this reverb when Captain was on. Why don't I get the Captain?
I don't know, Andy. That's a great question. I did change up something on the technical side. Maybe
the people that actually are listening don't hear this ping though, but that's what it sounds like.
Yeah, and you would be surprised. I spent a lot of time trying to fix that recently, and I don't know what the deal with that is. And I also don't know why this stupid bar is showing up now when it should be off the bar. Let me just see. Okay, yeah.
It's all good on my end, man.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll make the most of it for now. I think what I could do. I think I know what to do with that. Hold on. Can you give me a second? Like, let me just mute you for a sec. Okay. Let me just see if I can get this. Hold on. Stand by, everybody. Maybe this will work. So what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna switch this around. It's gonna work actually. You know, I should pop this down from there. Okay. Let's do this. All right. Okay, let's see. Now, for those of you listening on the podcast, that will have been completely nonsensical, but let's see how this sounds. See, now I hear the D. Do you hear anything?
I don't hear it. I don't hear it.
So now I'm the one hearing the E sound. Okay, so here's what's going to happen, all right? So the good thing is that you don't hear it. That's cool. I probably need to get like two of these things. I need to get like one for your side and then another one for the other jack so that eventually I don't have to deal with that sound either, but that's an issue.
What is it that you need to get another one of?
Oh, okay. So it's a ground loop isolator, because that's exactly what you're talking about. Like, that's the issue with the scenario. So maybe if I get two of them, and because last time I had it plugged in the way I have it exactly at this point. So when I switched it to the other out, like instead of the output, it was like the input, or instead of the input, it was the output. Then I wasn't hearing it, but you were. Does that make sense? So maybe if I get two of them, I can fix the problem for good, because then both sides will get rid of that weird noise. It's annoying, isn't it?
What does your roommate think? Is your roommate
I'm not concerned with what she thinks one way or the other at this point. I will say this though, Andy, a true story. I looked in the fridge today and she had a jar of Del Monte jarred peaches. So that.
Oh, okay. I like the Del Monte pineapples.
Yeah, I like them too. Those are good. Yeah, it's a good stuff. It's a good scenario. So that helps a little bit in her scenario. Yeah, I know. I hear it too. Parcell says he hears it. I hear it. Believe me, I hear it. The issue is that the grounding is bad. When I moved up to this new computer, the new computer apparently doesn't have a good enough power source. And now it means that when you put in a USB power source, a USB sound card, it gives you this sound. I used to have this problem with my laptop when I had the laptop for the podcast, and that was irritating too. So I'll keep working on that. I think There are a couple things I can do. Maybe that is a good idea though. Maybe I can get the ground loop isolated for both ends of the scenario. Maybe that would include because like I said, when I switched it, I hear nothing, but you hear everything. So if we do two of them, like one for both the input and the output, that may fix the scenario. Okay, but thanks for letting me know. I'm glad you have good hearing if you can hear that, because that's interesting that you heard that too. So good spot. How are you?
It's a Monday, so Mondays usually suck. I mean, I'm not. Mondays suck. Who find me someone that's like, oh, I love Mondays, and I'll be like, you're a liar, tremendous liar. So, everyone. I don't want to get off on a tangent right away, but yeah, I'm good. I got the Bruins on.
Cool.
They got the Yankees in a parlay. Cole's not an ace anymore! Cole's not an ace! The fan base is not paying attention!
I know, man. He had that.
I got him in the parlay. I don't like that the Yankees are losing either. And I got the Braves in a parlay, so we're going to probably lose the parlay. But I'm into the NHL. I watched more hockey the last 2 days than I have all regular season. I didn't get into the regular season because I just couldn't get into Bruins Flyers like 8 times. Probably you couldn't get into Kings Sharks 9 billion times. But now that it's postseason, I'm into it. I posted on the game thread. I hope Mike is watching games in his kitchen again.
The kitchen.
Watching the Blue. What's the last game tonight? Is the Avalanche in the Wild? I think.
Okay.
Yeah. Hopefully he's watching that in the kitchen tonight, and everyone can see the puck. I can see the puck. I can see the puck right now, actually.
Nice. Very good. Yeah, the weekend of NHL action was really good. Like they're like a lot of games went to overtime, and then did you see the Tampa Bay Florida game?
So one game I didn't see it. Was golfing. Okay, Mike, I was golfing. But I saw the Bruins Capitals Saturday, and I saw I wasn't watching it, every face-off, but I saw the Islanders win against the Penguins, and then I saw, that 1-0 Vegas game. Well, Vegas was playing the Wild. The Lance were playing the Blues. Funhouse, me.
Oh, okay. Nah, that's all right. I mean, I wouldn't have known the difference at that point. Like, I barely parachuted into the playoffs as well. Like, I really lost track of the NHL like the last month. So, but it looks like fun. Like, I don't have any games on at the moment, but I was checking. I think you had Washington and whoever was like tied.
Washington Bruins right now.
Oh, that's right, the Bruin game. Right, the Bruin game. And then yeah, the Islanders had the big win in overtime, like with Palmieri with his game winner. It's a good game. That was a good game. So yeah, good stuff. I'll see how that one finishes out. I am definitely
like Mike changing the channel.
Oh yeah, with his little DirecTV remote.
I can see the video, and there's a little bit of a delay, but
right, I see that. Oh man. So I mean, how far behind are the Yankees right now? Because they're down by 2 when I started.
I think it's 3-1. I don't know. I have you can usually just go on Twitter and I don't know who you follow, but you can scroll down.
Yankees
by the
Twitter.
Time you scroll down 2 accounts, you know what's going on in Yankee land.
Well, Vitra had the tweak where he said that he thinks that they were down 11-1 when they based on the tweets.
Yeah, sometimes you read one tweet and it's it's 13-1, and then just find out no, it's just Cole led too many 2-0 counts to the 9 hitters in the lineup. It's got to stop. That's got to stop. You think this matters now? What do you think will happen in October? Correct the little things now! How are you going to correct the thing in October?
Pay attention.
There's one thing that I could find, and it, they know who they are. Jay Hoff. I don't know if you Jay Hoff. God bless his passion. And even Brett. I don't even know his Twitter handle. Kong got me, or don't count Kong out. But even him, he gets a little crazy with his Yankee tweets. Hands on the DL or the IL.
Yeah. Remember when he was having
because he's had a great year, right?
He is,
so
yeah.
Now that he's on the IL, like all his haters can be like, "See, told you, told you, told you." I don't know. It's a long season. I was actually thinking about this today because, and like how many everyone played like 40 games now, so it's like the 25% mark, 1 quarter mark. Quarter one is over, so you can actually like take a. I don't know whether you want to call it an assessment or evaluation, or because after 25%, you can kind of do a little assessment of where your team's at and the pluses and the minuses. The Yankees they'll be fine because the AL East. I think the Red Sox are going to take a step back at some point. I think the Yankees are only going to get better. I mean, I know we have fun at their expense, but. Could they have another starting pitcher that could like take the burden off Cole? Absolutely. But there's not I'm sorry, it's sports. It's professional sports. The other team, as shitty as they may be, they're still trying to win. So like is there a team that's ever been built that's like designed to go 162-0? No. So you're going to have some lumps, you're going to have some ups and downs, but I think the Yankees will be fine. I don't know. There's some level-headed Yankee fans out there.
Brad, would you qualify him as one of those? Yeah, I think so.
Depends when he's tweeting.
That's a fair point. Sometimes he's fair, though. I think so. Yeah. Good question. Good point, though. Yeah, I mean, Cole is great, though. I mean, look, I know he's not having the best night, but he's had a great year. He's looked so good. His command has just been amazing. Like, I don't think he's walked a guy in 50 strikeouts since he last walked a guy.
Yeah, I don't know the numbers, but I know he strikes out a shitload of batters. He goes deep into ball games. He's filthy. I mean, he's an ace. He's an ace. There's not a lot of aces left the way the game has changed and the way the managers kind of put a leash on long outings. We could talk about that all day long. You can get fiddle on the air. It's just like, not to borrow Doggy's phrase, but it's like, what other sport, like fourth quarter of a basketball game, LeBron James, he's not getting pulled out. He might be tired, but he's still playing.
Yeah.
The 72nd hole of a major, like, Rory McIlroy he's tired, but he's not coming out. The quarterback, you don't take Russell Wilson out after his 52nd passing attempt. But baseball's different. It's just we've been buried by math.
Yeah. That's one area that Cap and the two of us would agree on. It's just been I get it. I mean, you're trying to prevent injuries, but is it working? Like, people are getting hurt anyway. You got a lot of Tommy Johns, every single year. It seems almost kind of pointless to even attempt to, you're going to save the pitcher, but he gets hurt anyway. What's the difference?
Yeah, people smarter than me can figure all that out, because now it's like the arms now, they're not used to throwing 130 pitches and going on, now you have 6-man rotations, and so they never get a chance to really get the arm stressed out so it can perform when it's stressed out. Not, you know what I mean? It's I don't know. Maybe we'll see more, all this emphasis on analytics and going by the binder and rather than the eyes. Maybe eventually that will wane, that bubble burst, and then we'll get, managers like Jack McKeon again, or whoever that old guy on the Marlins was. That
Jack McKeon. Is he still alive?
managed by Field.
I don't know.
I don't. Didn't the Mets hire him a few years ago, and Mike made fun of it?
Trader Jack. I remember him. Yeah. I don't know if he. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to go back. I'll go look it up later. But
Look up the book.
Eddie, give me the book of Jack McKeon.
Jack McKeon. He's 90.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's definitely old. Because he was old. Because remember, when he merged the Marlins, he was old back then. Like, he was like 70-something years old back then. And,
he hasn't done much. Hasn't done much. 90.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he's 90.
Okay. While we deliberate over that, a question in from VTrad. He says, he asks, who is the J-Hoff of the board?
Who's the J-Hoff of the board? That's a great question. Because J-Hoff, like, I don't even know if someone's like, who the heck is J-Hoff? There's a guy on Marvel Agents of the Shield that kind of looks like him, but who is the J-Hoff of the board? Such a unique persona on Twitter. The thing about J-Hoff is, like, he goes on these maniacal, like, Yankee rants, and then, like, in the middle of it, it'll be like, Knicks had a great season, much respect. Like, very, like, mild-mannered, like, oh, it's a great season by the Knicks. And then he'll, like, he leans left, so then he'll, like, then there'll be another tweet about, like, anti-Republican, and then it'll be back to, like, hating the Yankees. I don't know if there is a J-Hoff on the board. I don't want to force the issue.
When you add the politics in there, there's probably nobody that's like J-Hoff. That's true.
Currently, I don't think there is one. But, like, do you remember Major World?
Oh, yeah, okay. I remember him. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
J-Hoff tweets kind of like Major World used to post. Like, very demonstrative, profanity, capital letters, exclamation point. That type of style. Because right now the board, there's no, I think, a lot of sports being on, election years over. Like, the board isn't like an angry place right now.
I agree.
I don't want now maybe next.
It has mellowed out a lot. I mean, other than like there have been some stuff with like the COVID masking and whatever, but all in all, I think it's a lot calmer than it used to be. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. Ask me again. I mean, this could all change. Right now, if there was a J-Hoff of the board, I would say Major World was one.
Mm-hmm.
If there was like a J-Hoff post, like if J-Hoff's Twitter personality could be morphed into like one board post, it'd be like that one that gets like that Sylphie one that's like, now excuse me, I have to go cash in my winning ticket on Orb. Like that's kind of like a J-Hoff tweet in the post. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. I feel that. Who would be? Let me think. Who would be? Is there any? Well, it's a stupid question because I was gonna say who's the board equivalent of Uncle Brian and Brian Buck, but it's like Brian Buck is the equivalent of Brian Buck because he's like every time you tweet about him, he just goes over to the board and has something to say.
Yeah, he's gonna be lurking in 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2. Gone. Da-da-da, da-da-da. And then he just tweeted, that's ba-da-da, ba-da-da.
Right. So I'm kind of, I guess the better question then would be like, who would be the like a known Twitterer, like another guy on Twitter that's kind of a comp to what Uncle Brian does?
Oh, I mean, I think whenever there's any sort of like discourse, I don't know if that's the right word, the Uncle Brian phenomena, I guess it's like feel like Uncle Brian has arguments with himself. So, like, I think it would be like the equivalent of a Brian Buck tweet would be like an actual conversation between TR and like Oh Baby about whatever they're going back and forth, like whether it's like the stock market or like a jobs report, states doing this versus states not doing this. So it's like, well, Brian will tweet and it's just like he's having a conversation with himself. On the board, no one has conversations with themselves because it's the board. It would just be like, I say, yeah, Oh Baby would be involved.
Okay. That makes sense.
And just like a debate.
Yeah.
There's a healthy debate, a one-sided debate. Usually it'd be in the morning thread. It wouldn't be in the game thread. I haven't read the game threads in a while. Yeah, it just there haven't been any sort. I'm trying to think like Ti versus Oh Baby. That's always entertaining. But I'm trying to think what happened today. Nothing really happened today. Just Gator versus Oh Baby about travel, stuff like that. Right? Like not necessarily always contrarian, but just like TR actually said it perfectly. No, maybe I'm thinking of a tweet that Panther had the other day about like, fuck, what was it? And he was like, this is like saying the New York Times had this article about like Republicans think this. And it's like it's a one-sided argument, but the way the Times headline was composed, it's like you're giving credence to the argument that really has no leg to stand on. It was just like people that think the earth is round versus people that think the earth is flat are not coming into, like, they don't agree on the fact that the earth is flat. And it's like when you say it that way, that means you're actually giving some sort of credence to the people that think the earth is flat. The earth is not fucking flat. So
Right.
There's no debate. There's no disagreement between. It's not a healthy disagreement. It's just like you think the earth is flat. Like there's no room for that.
Right.
Does that make sense? Probably not.
Yeah, I just can't believe that's even a thing. But I'm not going to get into that because that's going to bring down the tone of the show. So let's get to the next question. All right, so next we have a tweet from Ron in New Jersey. Ron, I want to get your thoughts on Week 0, too. So if you can give us some thoughts on that in the chat, let us know. But meanwhile, his question, he says, did Andy ever get through The Office? And if so, how bad is Andy, and not you, but the Andy from the show, in Season 9?
Fuck. I haven't. I am halfway, no, like 3/4 through. It must be Season 7 then. We've been watching other stuff, like all this playoff stuff is back. I've just been into Marvel. I'm just totally geeked out on Marvel. I watched like Black Panther 4-3. We've been watching The Crown with my crumpets. No, eat my crumpets and stones, but we don't watch The Crown at the same time. No, and then Monica, she watches some other stuff, but we'll get back to The Office. That's a terrible job on everyone's part. That's a terrible job.
You mean the show? I'm
terrible job. The weather's gotten better, and the TV time has just kind of, I wouldn't say it's condensed because it hasn't. It has a little bit, but like the TV time, it starts a little later because it's light out till 8:30, and I'm golfing a lot more.
Right.
All first world problems. But Yeah, I gotta get back into the office. I gotta finish. What's funny is because I did the same thing. That's what we did. That's what we did. Figure it out. We finished season 3 of Stranger Things.
Oh, there you go. Nice. Yeah, that was fun, wasn't it? I mean,
It was. I don't know if we should talk spoilers, but I'm looking forward to season 4.
Yeah,
I think
me too.
the board. I don't think the board. Is there anyone on the board that hates Stranger Things? I doubt it.
no, I'd be very surprised. I haven't heard any specifically negative comments about that show. I mean, it took me like years to get into it, but I guess I think it was last year. Finally watched like all 3 seasons, and yeah, I love it.
Going back to The Office, like because I'm such in Heyman mode, and it's like Andy Bernard's in the new show now, and I forget the name of it. I forget who else is in it. It might be on Netflix. It might be on Hulu. It might even be a movie. I don't know. But he looks old. They all and then I'm like, that's right, because Office ended in 2012.
Yeah. It's been a while.
And Andy, I don't know, his character is like hot and cold. Dwight grew on me like a fungus. I used to hate Dwight, and then when I rewatched it and then watched like season 5, 6, and 3/4 of season 7, I'm like, Dwight's actually, I like Dwight. So, you're allowed to change your mind in life, as our friend Yacht/George Roddy always says. He doesn't tweet anymore, but we still talk. Sorry, this idea. We talk to other, people that may have left the board. But he's always been like, people, you can change your opinion on things over the years. So that's what happened to me with Dwight Schrute.
Nice. I mean, it can happen. I mean, I kind of went the opposite way with Kramer, like Cosmo Kramer from Seinfeld. Like, I used to love him. I used to be my favorite character. And now I just find him annoying because I feel like he's very one-dimensional, right?
That's a great point. We could have you should get other people on the board that know more about Seinfeld than me. Like Captain, I think, is a Seinfeld savant. Utter Disaster, I think, is a Seinfeld savant. Beachhead's probably seen every episode. I think the board, since it's so tri-state centric, like everyone has seen a lot of the Seinfeld. That's a great point, because when Seinfeld was like running current 89 to 96 or whatever, I watched it as a middle schooler, and I was like, Kramer's so funny, and George is so like such a loose cannon. And then now, like, I know Seinfeld as a whole, like from the whole enchilada standpoint, it definitely still holds up. Like, there's other shows from that time that's like that would seem dated when you watch now. But I guess if we want to be like completely objective about Seinfeld, is like the Kramer stuff is kind of annoying. Well, not annoying. No, not annoying. Let me take it back. Let me walk that back. Not annoying, but just like, we used to love Kramer's like mannerisms. We're like, oh, I'll be there. Or like all that stuff. Like, now that I watch, it's like, no, I could do, like, the Kramer stuff isn't the selling point. It's just like, it's the plot devices. It's George. It's Elaine relationships with all the different men. Gary, just stuff like that. Like, Uncle Leo being just a total.
Love Uncle Leo.
Yeah,
Uncle Leo?
Jerry's parents, all that stuff. It's George's parents, George living with his parents, George with the hand model. That's a great episode.
Oh, I love that episode. Jerry's parents.
That's another show that we'll rewatch. Thing about rewatching Seinfeld is like, you can just go on Hulu and just play like just kind of like Seinfeld roulette. I think you got John and Georgia, and you guys were talking about like, is you still a thing? And like, I don't think it is anymore, but like, because you can just go on Hulu, look up Seinfeld, and just do like eeny, meeny, miny, mo, and find episode, and then it hits the sweet spot. Same with Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah,
There's so many you can just get lost in those shows.
I hear that. Let's see. So back to the questions. Those are great points, though. By the way,
I'm surprised there's questions. I thought Tommy was going to hijack the program.
Oh yeah, I never heard from Tommy. I guess I didn't tell him about. This is not a bad job out of me. I should have texted him about the show. But he asks. So the next question from Parcells, he asks, "Did you fly east for the LT wedding?"
I didn't. But it sounds like it was a blast.
Yeah.
When I actually had a shitty ass. Well, every day at work kind of sucks. But anyway, work sucks. I mean,
Really interesting. Okay.
I had to. I couldn't read the board in real time.
Oh.
When I did catch up, the LT description just reminded me of like the first 10 minutes of Godfather 1. Like this lavish wedding, and just the singing and the dancing and the eating and everything that went through like a big wedding. And it sounds like it was great. And it's because I was talking to my mom about this. She came and visited over Mother's Day, and we was talking about COVID, and she was like, imagine like all the people that were supposed to get bar mitzvah and didn't get bar mitzvah. Imagine people that are supposed to get married. Imagine all the people that were supposed to graduate college and they couldn't have like the pomp and circumstance and high school graduation and but now they're back. And so like even where I work now, like it's golf course stuff, but some of the golf clubs have like the big clubhouse for weddings and all the weddings and bar mitzvahs on, and so they're all coming back, right? They were all postponed last year, and they're all coming back. And I was like, like people are. How do you act at a wedding? I haven't been in a while, It's like people have to like get their I'm a social. I don't know how to act socially, but COVID's definitely stunted my brain a bit. So just like LT back in the wedding game, I'm sure he didn't miss a beat. I'm sure the wedding guests, they didn't miss a beat, but it's back, right? Like I don't know the exact details of if his daughter and son-in-law, if they actually did like the paperwork like last year and like officially became a couple, and then now they're doing like the celebration with the out-of-towners and the guests and the friends and all that stuff, or if everything was postponed. But it sounded like the party was amazing. I'm guessing Tommy got an invitation.
Well, I was just that's an interesting query, because I would assume that as well, and we were Ron was about to ask you, was Tommy in the wedding party? And I guess you don't know at this point?
No, I don't know. But if Tommy, if he wasn't invited, I'm guessing Tom. If I had to bet, Tommy got invited at the very least, because like there's like, I think this is still a thing. It's like there's always like that list of people that you invite, kind of expecting them maybe not to go, but you're still going to get a gift from them, because that's always like the societal, footprints with weddings is like you get invited and you can't go, you send a gift, send cash. I don't know what you do, but you send something. Tommy definitely sent LT daughter a wedding gift. I'd be shocked if there was no gift exchange.
I agree. I think they got to think.
Tommy, you got 6 months to do it. You got 6 months.
I'm pretty sure it did it.
Maybe it's less because it's like the internet age now. So I think you used to have a year, and then that got cut to 6 months. Maybe now it's like 1 month.
But you don't need. Usually, you don't need more than 1 month to fulfill a gift registry for a wedding, right? So, I think you can do it. We'll see. All right, next, let's see. Yeah, and I agree with you. That wedding sounded awesome. They had a whole full band and like dancing and an open bar and a Sunday bar. You ever had a Sunday bar at a wedding? I don't remember the Sunday bar before. I've seen snack bar. I've seen open bar. I've never seen dessert bar.
I don't think I've seen it at a wedding. I've seen it at buffets, like in Vegas. They'll have very elaborate dessert spreads where you got like the chocolate fountain and just like the tarts and the tiramisu and the what do they like the burnt custard, whatever, or the burnt cream, whatever.
Right?
Flan, custard, any sort of, creme brulee, sherbet, pies. But a Sunday bar sounds pretty cool. It's like, we joke about it because it's true, but, LT's got the means. He could have probably had like, what's the national frozen yogurt place? I don't know if Menchie's.
Pinkberry.
Pinkberry.
Yeah.
He could have had like Menchie's. He could have had like a Menchie's like franchise open up for a 6-hour window. Get all the permit, just you got a 6-hour operation license. And you could have had Menchie's for the frozen yogurt. Frozen yogurt's great. I haven't had it in a while, but you can just kind of, gummy bears, Reese's Pieces. The toppings are great, but I almost want to read the post again. It's funny about the board. Like last week, everyone was just talking about food. I'm like, I'm starving. Get you in the mood.
It's inevitable.
I think the Bruins just tied it, but.
Oh no! Shit! Did they really?
Yeah, but congrats to LT. Yeah.
They really tied the game? I'm looking at it right now.
3-3.
Oh, dude! Wow.
Taylor Hall.
People with the under. They were that close. They were that close to clinching that. Ooh. Wow. So we might go to overtime in that game.
Do they call it? Is that a scrum? Would that be considered a scrum?
Could be.
Front of
Yeah. Good question. What do you think are the chances of this game in overtime now? It's got to be really good, right? Because there's only 3 minutes left.
It's good. I love old baby. I love Little Strong. I like the passion that he brings to the board. But I did take umbrage to his like the NHL games had juice yesterday.
So that was him who was getting on the NHL.
Like,
Somebody was, because I saw a lot of tweaking today.
Did he mean like no juice as in like there was like little fanfare of like, oh boom, the NFL, because it was kind of a segmented start because the Saturday night was just the Bruins had the standalone game. It was right after the horse race, and then for some reason like the Canucks are still finishing the regular season, and then yesterday you had like basically a triple header.
Yep.
So like. If you like to gamble, if you're a hockey fan, then you know the games are on. Like that's like juice. That's juice right there. And then I'm holding in a burp like Mike. The fact that 2 of the 3 games went overtime, and then the Tampa Florida game was a wild like 6-5 ended. Like it was a 6-5 game, I think. Like that's juice. That's juice. So I don't know what he was expecting. It's hockey. It's, when no one's trying to, like the NHL isn't, not the NFL, obviously.
Yeah, and to be fair, I didn't know the playoffs started on Saturday. Like I had to see some tweet in the middle of the day, like, Oh, they're already playing. I'm like, I was completely surprised by that. So, for what it's worth. Let's see. We have another question in from. Oh, we have some more.
This is a quick plug. For a local company called Starbucks.
Local company.
This is an Americano.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I like the Americano. Yeah, it's a good one.
Americano iced.
Local company. I mean, technically you're right, but it's still funny that you say it that way.
And just iced Americano with a splash of milk.
Oh, that sounds great. And on a day like this, what is the weather? I know the weather's been getting really warm in Seattle. Like, what is it now? What is it like right now?
It's so don't look at the 10-day now. We looked at the 10-day about 10 days ago. By this weekend will be probably like B+ golf weather, but this like the work week it's gonna be like low 60s. I mean, you can look it up now,
right?
But it's I would say it'll be a cool and comfortable week. I don't have AC in my unit. I saw a couple of quickies was like 87% of the households in America don't or have AC. I'm like, well, I'm in the 13%. Monica is gonna hate it this summer again, but I have fans now. Like I didn't even have fans, and then Monica was like, take this fan and take this fan. So now I have fans. I'm lazy, and I'm a lazy person, and if it's hot, it's hot, and I sleep when it's hot because what else are you gonna do? But yeah, it's like I have the window. I open windows. So I guess the fan will help. The fan helped last year. I don't really remember. Like, I'm thankful that my office, like every office I've worked in, has had AC. But I don't know. Like and when I lived in New England, we had AC.
Right.
In my first home, we didn't have central AC. We had like window AC. The squeeze AC into the window, and I had one. And then when my parents moved when I was 14, that house had central air. But when I moved out here, this building does not have AC.
That is interesting. I am a little surprised.
I don't know. It's because LOL Seattle, like in the summer, probably like it's 70. I would say average 70, mid 70s, high 70s in the daytime, and then by the time it gets down to the low 60s, and then when there's like a heat wave, then when there's a heat wave, then you get like a 5-day stretch where it is in the high 80s, and then at nighttime it's still in like the 70s. Maybe by like 3 a.m. it goes down to like the mid 60s. So yeah, in those instances, then my unit can kind of bake a bit, but it's really maybe like 15 days out of the summer tops.
Yeah. So
it's just I kind of like it when it's hot. I like it when it's hot. It doesn't get humid out here. Another like thing, I guess my unit, like it faces the northwest. The windows like the northwest, so like in the daytime it doesn't in the way like the way it's weird, like in the East Coast and the tri-state folks on the board can verify, like high noon, that's when it's the hottest. Like for whatever reason in Seattle, like the high isn't until like 4:00 in the afternoon. And so like that's the way, if I'm sitting at home, like last year working from home or whatever, like the condo, like it's still kind of cool until like 4:00, 5:00 when the sun is now making its way to like the, whatever you want to call it, the western quadrant. And now like the windows are starting to get the sunshine. But yeah.
Yeah, no, but your observations are very similar to what I observe here and Santa Monica, where it's the same scenario. We don't have air conditioning, so there'll be like those 10 days out of the year, maybe 15, similar to you, where we have to use the fan, and it can be miserable on a time like that. So I don't know. But there's not enough sample size of hot weather to make it worth getting air conditioning, is it? So it's kind of, and air conditioning.
How's it already 7:15?
Yeah, time flies, man. Time flies. Let's see. There's one more wedding question from V-Tread. He asks, "Did LT do the gator?"
What is? Does that mean like
a dance, I guess?
I don't know. Is there a Twisted Tuna reference?
I don't know.
Gator could mean a few things.
That's true.
Gator has been a board member forever.
Yeah.
Gator, not to pull a funhouse because I'm not a funhouse guy, but his like, depending on the day, his stance on like masks and COVID is very Lou Langy, because it's like at one point he was like the virus is like not real, and then he was like, I'm still dancing, I'm still going out, and then another time he's like, yeah, like it's real. I don't know. It's
He's all over the place. No, you're right. No, your instinct is correct, because like I noticed that he was kind of getting on people for trying to take off their masks and so on too. So he's been very, what's the word, Mike 44 about the situation. Yeah.
Well, I know like he's very anti-QAnon.
Mm-hmm.
Because at one point, I forget, he's like, I'm anti whatever party is like currently in office. I think that's what it's right. So then like that's when he became like pro-Trump, and then once like QAnon became a thing, he was like, all right, these guys are like grade A morons, so let's maybe scale it back a bit. But I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to read him.
Heck of a sports fan, though.
Yeah, definitely. I always think it's cool, like he's so loyal to his teams. Like, and he's even like a realist as far as the Lakers. Like, so it's cool, because like I know I get on the Lakers and
he's got a steel trap.
Yeah.
Got a steel trap.
He does. True story.
Like India Building's got a steel trap.
Yeah, he really does. Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about, the steel trap. Because you say something bad about the Mets, and he'll remember. He'll bring it back to you, no doubt. Very much so. Let's see. Next from okay, so two from Ron in New Jersey. He says, number one, not sure about week 0 in college football, but week 1 is fucking stacked. I agree with that. That's gonna be some great matchups. Ooh, what happened here? Oh, there we go. And then he says, I'm calling it right now. Dave, take this down and save it for the football show. NC State will beat Clemson at home on September 25th. Not sure why, but I've got a feeling. Hashtag calling it.
Calling it. Where's Gamble been, by the way? Gamble, come back, will you?
Yeah, good point. Yeah, I like that. I think, first of all, I haven't really been that big on Clemson in the last like year and a half. Like, I don't think Lawrence was as great as everybody talked him up to be. Like, he was okay. He was good, but I just don't remember. We're kind of tired of the whole the little train that could thing with Dabo. This is getting annoying.
Hot takey. This da 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 da. I would argue that Clemson fatigue, as in people like sick of Clemson, has almost overtaken Alabama fatigue.
Yeah. There's something to that. Yeah. Because Bama's been winning the championships all that time.
Mm-hmm. Mushnick, think about it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I see that.
I don't know. Saban just kind of like, Dabo does some like weird stuff, I guess. Like the shucks, I'm just a little boy from a little town trying to make it in this big world. Like Dabo, like you're not fooling anybody.
Right.
You're not like this the little choo-choo that could, like, yeah, maybe that angle was like had some credence and maybe 5-6 years ago, but you're a big fish in a power school, and you're like FSU is not FSU anymore, right? Like that's
Right.
like narrative kind of changed when FSU lost a lot of their luster, and so when Dabo was kind of the 1A or number 2 in the ACC, it was because Florida State was Florida State, and now Florida State's no longer Florida State. It's Clemson, and also that conference is just it's gone downhill. Like as our college show, John and Ron and Robert and Virginia can all document, the ACC. Sorry, Glendale, is just not a very appealing pigskin conference.
Mm-hmm.
But so Clemson, you can't have it both ways.
No.
You're the powerhouse of that conference, and you can't just be like, we're a little guy. I'm a little guy trying to make a big world.
Yeah, I mean, now that you're like consistently ranked number 1 or number 2 in the polls, like that whole act doesn't work anymore. Right on. Question from VTread regarding the. Oh no, this is just a clarification point from VTread on the LT question. He says that the gator is an Animal House reference. That's right.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, it's like a dance from like the movie.
Shamalama ding dong.
Yeah. Isn't it interesting that they got
You want to dance with your chicks?
I think it's wild that they got the Isley Brothers to do like the spot, like they did like a concert, and that song was like at that point it was probably.
You want to dance with your dates? I think that's the line.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Yeah. I need to watch that movie again. It's been a while. I need to watch that again, so I shall.
Kevin Bacon.
Yeah.
Donald Sutherland.
Yep. Great movie.
It would get canceled today, though. But we don't have to talk about cancel.
Let's not get into that. All right. So next up, who's your favorite MCU villain?
MCU villain. Oh boy. Well, I still haven't seen I haven't even really seen Thanos except in like the mid-credit scene and the big. I've heard about the snap. I haven't seen the snap. Villain, MCU villain. I mean, is Loki considered a villain or is he an anti-hero?
No, I think a villain. Well,
I kind of like Loki.
Mm-hmm.
He looks like Tim Lincecum.
He does like. I didn't think of that. It's true. He does like.
Yeah, it's kind of like, wow, this guy looks like Lincecum. And it's like almost a distraction.
Yeah.
Let me see. Let's run them down. I mean, Jeff Bridges in Iron Man 1. Was he the first villain in Iron Man 1?
Yeah.
Am I getting Iron Man 2 mixed up? No, Iron Man 2, Sam Rockwell was villain. It's funny. I like, not to get too deep in the MCU, but like I like how, well, it's like Captain Nova. That's the comic book lineage, or like that's how comic books are. Like they don't start out in villain right away. Like Jeff Bridges and Robert Downey Jr. in the beginning of Iron Man 1, they're not buddies per se, but then shit gets real.
Right.
And, it's a quest for power and stuff like that. I like Jeff Bridges' character in Iron Man 1. Favorite villain? I don't know. It's like, I know Winter Soldier, Bucky's bad, but we know what happens. He gets rehabilitated. No spoiler alert, but I mean, how can you miss it? I mean, you have to be living in a cave to not know what happens to Bucky, because he goes to Kawanda and gets healed there or whatever, because he's not under the
Wakanda, yeah, that's right.
Wakanda!
Wakanda forever.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Loki, yeah, because Thor in the first Thor, Loki was definitely the bad guy.
Right.
Yeah, Loki. Loki's my favorite villain.
I think he qualifies. To me, I think he qualifies. So I think it's a good answer. Let's see. And this on Clemson from Ron. He says Clemson beats up on bad teams. Bama beats heavyweights. True sports fans have to respect that. Yeah.
Respect.
100%. Bama is never afraid to schedule a big opponent. I've always noticed that, like, forever. Like, they schedule the big teams. They schedule. I mean, USC used to be better, but I mean, there's usually like a 6-year differential between when they schedule a game and when they play the game. So I'm sure that when they scheduled USC back in the day, they were better. It just didn't work out for them. But it was, you love the attempt. You love the attempt. So,
Yeah.
Let's see. Anything else? Oh yeah, V-Trade had an omelet station at a wedding. So that's cool.
I love omelet stations.
Yeah.
I haven't been in an embassy suite in a while. But the best thing about embassy suites were the omelets, like the omelet stations in the morning, and like the free cocktail hour.
Yeah.
That was a thing embassy suites had.
That's money.
Free drink. How to say no to that?
And it was pretty good quality in both fronts. Like the breakfast, absolutely. I've been to a number of them, and whenever you go up for the omelets back in the day, pre-COVID, like it was good. It was really good stuff.
The other day, I think the board was talking about crepes, and they're like, I think it was like a spin-off about like sandwiches. I think Lubs and a couple quickies were talking about like hot dogs, and Lubs was like, it's a fucking sandwich. He was very, very angry about it all. And he's like, at the end of the day, it's a sandwich. But since it's a hot dog, like we just call it a hot dog, but it's a sandwich. It's like, and I get it. It's like, at the end of the day, a square is a rectangle, but we call it a square. I get it. And so it like spun off to like crepes, and someone was like, what do you call a crepe that's got meat in it? And I was like, I was too lazy to respond, or I think I was doing something else. Like a lot of places do have savory crepes, and you can get a crepe with like ham and cheese or like a turkey and cheese crepe. I don't know what they call them. I think they just call them crepes. I'm getting a crepe confused with like what makes a crepe different than a pancake. I don't know, but it's good. Like I like crepes.
I like crepes
I don't
too.
need time. I probably, if I have like a crepe once a year.
But you're right though. I remember in the beginning, I did not realize that crepes could be savory. Like I didn't know you could do like ham and cheese crepes. I didn't know you could do sausage crepes or burger crepes or whatever it is. Like it's interesting. Yeah, but it works. It's just as good. I'm fine with it.
But Dave, we could have another podcast about Mexican cuisine because enchiladas, tortillas, and flour tortillas versus corn tortillas versus like hard tacos and soft tacos and tamales. We didn't even get to talk about Seattle barbecue. And
we were supposed to do that to start the show. So let's talk about that. Like, do you think that the reputation of Seattle barbecue is overblown? It sounded like you said, yeah, it is.
It is. Well, the fact that as John and Georgia pointed out, someone pointed out that like it's a TripAdvisor poll, so that's like throw that out. But Georgia was like, John and Georgia said like any list that doesn't have like Kansas City on it and like
Austin.
Someone else, like if Austin's not on there, like then what? And the fact Georgia also said like New Orleans was on the list. Like the New Orleans, like they're known for Cajun and like Creole cuisine, like not barbecue. So it's like it's a bogus list. But I don't know who's still like going on TripAdvisor these days.
I do use it.
I feel like, in no disrespect, I don't even think someone like LT would go on TripAdvisor.
Wow.
Like who goes on Trip? Like I don't know. I feel like people go on Yelp and people go on Google reviews.
Mm-hmm.
And
yes, you're right though. It's kind of
this thing of the past. Like who goes on like Expedia and like Travelocity, and who actually books tickets through Orbitz these days? I'm sure there are people that still
Been a
do.
while, yeah. Well, what better than that? Who books a ticket through like a trip through an actual travel agent, like at an office? That's a bygone era too. Like, could you imagine like somebody else booking a trip for you? Like, why would I need to do that anymore?
Yeah. When In the Car had that post, and it reminded me of back in the day or whatever. Like, In the Car had this post about like how his home phone landline as a kid would get like crisscrossed with like the I'm sure LAX had them back in the day, and like the baggage claim area, when like each like a Hertz and the Avis and the Enterprise and the Alamo and the Budget each had like a phone booth that had no phone like 456789123. You just like, it was just a phone, and you lift up the phone, and then you get dispatched to like, hey, Hertz, and they're like, where's my car? Or this is Thurston Dinwiddie. I've landed and I'm waiting for my car. Like, that line would hook up to In the Car's phone, house phone.
Mm-hmm.
All this to say, like, the whole rental car business is a lot different. Like, Bruins win. We actually bet on them.
Oh, nice. Wait, that's news to me. I didn't. So this is a rare Andy bet on the Bruins. Look at that.
Yeah, I was just like, well, I bet against them game one, and I was like, you know how they nibble.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
If they lost tonight, I would have probably bet heavy on them game 3 too.
Right. Were you surprised they were giving odds in this game, being on the road and everything?
Yeah, I was actually. Someone's got to get me the book on the Capitals this year. But, yeah, the Bruins are minus 125.
Yeah.
Fuck, I want to just keep shooting the shit, because I'm not going to be hungry for another 45 minutes or so.
Yeah. Well, let's see. I got this. Yeah, so of the Seattle barbecue places, like, what has stood out to you? Like, what's been like a real deal kind of barbecue for you?
Yeah, if anyone's still alive that's listening, whatever, they can Google the place too. Like, I've actually, my barbecue like brain was very rickish for a long time. Just like, I like barbecue ribs and I like pulled pork sandwiches, and that's like, I was very I wouldn't say closed-minded, but I was like, I like barbecue ribs and I like pulled pork sandwiches. That's it. And then, like, I don't know, just visiting my dad in Houston, got more in tune with like brisket, got more in tune with like sausage. Like, I've had this Italian sausage. I've had sausage with pasta. I've had sausages at like, not to, there's a Meredith or whatever her name. There's a Mike Mistress joke. Someone made, ooh, I love the sausage, but
Brie,
I like
Brie too.
baseball games. But barbecue joints with sausage, I never really got into that.
Mm-hmm.
But then, going to Houston, eating brisket, and then like the beef ribs, that's a thing. So like, I kind of opened my horizons, got a little more expansive with barbecue. And then so Seattle, I think like 10 years ago there was like because it was like trendy, it was like a thing to do. It was like, oh, let's open up barbecue joints. Like, Ron a few years ago was like, he caught wind of like the pokey scene. He's like, if I had my, I don't know, he didn't say it like this. He was like, if I had LT money, I'd open up a barbecue.
Yeah.
If we all had LT money, we could do different things. But
that we could do with LT money.
Pokey craze was going from Hawaii to mainland and west to east. Anyway, all that to say, the barbecue scene in Seattle, like, there was a bunch of barbecue restaurants that opened about 10 years ago, and a lot of them are no longer barbecue joints, or they just didn't survive. But there's one barbecue place. It was one location. It was called Jack's Barbecue, and the guy, I don't know if his name's Jack. I think it is Jack. He is from Central Texas, and his the go-to meat is the brisket, and it is really good. And so that's good. They, whether you love it or hate it, I'm sure, how I'm sure devoted people to Jack's Barbecue got crestfallen when he decided to open up 2 more locations.
Oh,
yeah.
they're dithering down the brand, or they're watering it down. Is that what people say?
Yeah, it's
that.
if everyone's favorite band goes mainstream, it's like I liked them when they were playing in my high school auditorium.
Right.
But that happened. So Jack, they expanded. They expanded into the neighborhood that Amazon was in. I mean, why? It's kind of a no-brainer if you're in the business of making money. And I'm sure did their product maybe take a step backwards? It very well could have. I only really have gone to their original location. They got Shinerbach on tap. That's a Texas.
Oh, that's
beer.
good. I'm down with Shiner. Yeah, I like Shinerbach.
Their brisket's great. Their brisket's great. I don't know if this is just the old man in me. When I eat ribs now, I prefer them dry. And
you mean without the sauce?
Without the sauce,
Uh-huh.
I could I have the option to apply sauce.
Right.
Or get it on the side. Sometimes it might not need sauce.
Yeah.
I think in Texas, and they could, someone could look it up. I think the Texas style with brisket and the ribs is rub. It's the rub. And if you want sauce, you can apply it later.
I think that's look, you don't want. I think to your point, you don't want gobs of sauce on there because you're not going to taste the flavor in the meat if you have too much sauce. So
You're not I've turned it. I'm such a weirdo, but even when I eat hot dogs now, sometimes I'll do if I get a hot dog at in between the 9th and the 10th hole, I just want to get a taste for the hot dog. So
you told me this. You told me
no
Nothing.
toppings.
Wow.
And also it's easy. I'm just eating.
Going Kobayashi on this hot dog. It's keep it simple.
Keep it simple. Yeah, and just I don't know. Maybe I'm eating hot dogs wrong. Probably am.
Somebody on the board will tell you that you're wrong, no matter what you do.
You're eating how do you not put ketchup on? How do you not put onions?
No, they wouldn't do it for ketchup. They'd just be like, why aren't you putting a mustard on it? It should be mustard and that's it. But if you don't... Yeah. I have to agree with the ketchup part, though. I don't understand. Ketchup is a thing down here, of course, and I imagine it is where you are. I don't do ketchup anymore because I feel like it's too distracting. I'd rather just do mustard and mustard, onions, and then relish sometimes.
Oh, so you're just talking about hot dog?
Yeah, it's a hot dog. Yeah.
Okay, I thought you meant you eliminated ketchup because it's still good on French fries.
Yeah. No, I love it on fries. Yeah. Good call on that. Yeah. But I really don't eat it on much at all. A lot of people like ketchup with eggs, and I'm not in that camp. I go Tabasco and eggs. I'm Tabasco and eggs. Tabasco with eggs, or the chalupa. Cholula. Oh, that's fairly popular. Oh, a lot of people love Cholula. Yeah, it's big around here. It's huge. Everywhere it's huge. It's huge all over the place right now. So I don't blame them. It's good. I like it. Tabasco is just kind of more of an old school thing, but I like Cholula too. They're both good. Let's see. No, I mean these are great calls on everything here. Wait, so you said Jack's is the guy was a big place that you like?
Jack's Barbecue.
Okay.
Jack's Barbecue, just south of downtown Seattle.
Love it.
There are a bunch of breweries, actual breweries, SP. SP would probably like the neighborhood. It'd be maybe a little too hipster for him now, but he likes beer, so he would eat it up.
I think he'd be down with it. Yeah.
He would eat it up.
You can deal with it. You can deal with the hipsters.
Tremendous bar.
What's the open carry policy down there?
Well, not to get too deep, but the thing about I know T.I. he hasn't called me a bleeding liberal in a while, but once you get out of especially south, once you go like 20 miles like south and like just a little southeast of Tacoma, like it's pretty rural.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing. There's nothing wrong with whether you lean left or you lean right. As we've always said, despite what Ti might think of me, or it's always like
If Ti thinks you're a bleeding liberal,
it's a loud minorities on both Philly style, both sides,
Mhm.
both sides,
yeah.
both sides.
Yeah, Ti doesn't know you about that well if he really thinks you're a
the
bleeding
old
heart.
chop, like the chop scene out here was a fucking mock. My mom was like, "Where was the chop scene?" I was like, "This." So I took my mom to like an oyster bar last week. I was like, "This, like here, right here, right here." But I didn't go last year. This restaurant wasn't open last year. It was boarded shut.
Mhm.
COVID's over. You don't want me to burn this? Burn this?
Isn't that just such a trip? Like the board. Oh, you got dangerously close to actually doing it. That's funny. God, the board just is so desperate to get rid of the masks. Like, what is the big deal? Like, it's just like it helps you. Like, what is the big deal? My goodness.
It's gonna. I think that someone actually on the other, I forget who it was, and it's not the dumbest bird to fly.
Mhm.
And I actually commented on it like as a joke because I'm half Chinese. I'm like, "There's too Asian of you. Go custard!" But if you're under like the mask like helps people like from getting like the flu. If
Yeah.
you like, maybe you don't even believe in the flu at this point. Maybe you don't even believe in germs. Maybe germs is all just in your head. But like in the winter when it's cold and everyone's inside, and why wouldn't, like, if you're under the weather, if you got a little weird thing in the back of your throat or you got a little runny nose, like maybe you wear the mask when you go grocery shopping.
Yeah.
Why not?
It doesn't hurt. It's kind of like the thing. It's like there's no need to
Asian
vilify
countries
it.
have done it for years because of like the air quality
Right.
and because it's a different culture. But yeah, like I'm gonna be masking if I'm under the weather next winter. And if someone wants to call me a fucking libtard, they're
I know.
okay.
It is what it is, Andy. Kevin's on the board. This is great. Junkie's on the board. Okay, so a question for Andy. Andy, is it raining there?
It actually is right now.
Nice.
But it's like it is raining right now.
Good times.
It's-
LOL meta.
Some sun on it's probably maybe 5 miles west of me. There's some sun, but it's drizzling. Drizzling. If I walked out right now, it'd be drizzling.
All right. Well, I guess we're rounding it out. We're kind of run out of questions here, but I do want to give you a plug because I know how big of a Game of Thrones fan you are. You've watched the whole thing, even the last season, right? Did you watch the last season too? As bad as it was?
Why? Because it wasn't in the books?
No, I'm just asking the question.
No,
It wasn't in the books.
I like Game of Thrones. I used to be obsessed with the show when it first came out.
Yeah.
What else? Do you remember Mike even watched the show?
I
Mike,
don't.
yeah.
I vaguely remember that. Yeah.
Uma had the audio of Mike describing an episode from season 1 where the princess has to like eat the horse heart, and Mike was like, yeah. It was just Mike making those noises.
That was
It was good. It was good for audio wars. Anyway, yeah. Game of Thrones. I mean, if we were to do another show, I'm sure you and Junkman can do it. Like, you could do a show that's just about like last seasons of great shows or season finales of great shows, and they're all just maybe like I never got into MASH, but was MASH like a great season finale? Maybe that was like the outlier of this whole argument. MASH a great season finale? I don't know, but endings are never fun.
Yeah. They did say that MASH was really good, though. That's like one of the best ones, which is hard to do. And I would also put Breaking Bad as like a great one. That was a great finale.
Yeah.
Very satisfying.
Sopranos. Sopranos is very polarizing.
Yeah, I was gonna say like that's.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna ask you like, where were you on that? Because like it was very polarizing. A lot of people hated it, and some people thought it was great. So.
The thing that's great about The Sopranos is everyone got a favorite character or favorite season, and that's a show that I should rewatch. The ending is polarizing. Obviously, it is dissected and analyzed like it's artwork, not just the final episode, like the entire series. Like, you know, the whole aura of David Chase can be dissected like it's a painting. One of those like Bill Murray's character in Ghostbusters, it's like an ink blotter, and the psychiatrist's like, what do you see? And some person's like, I see a ship. And another person might be like, I see a living room. And it's just can be analyzed like that.
Yeah, music is the same way though. Like you can be completely subjective. Like you think it's one thing, somebody else thinks it's something else. So it's very true.
Yes, that to tie it all back, like to V-Tread's question of like who's the Brian in New Haven of the board besides Brian in New Haven. It's like it's just a very I'm right, you're wrong dynamic, and it's about music. It's about like and it's all coming back to me now. Like it's like when people now it's all coming back to me. I'm clear again.
You are a Celine Dion song. It's all coming back. It's coming back to me now. Yeah.
Pot's wearing off. It's it's like I don't watch the Oscars. I don't watch the Oscars, but like I'm gonna fucking judge them. And this music is it's not music. Or Adele has my approval. Or I don't think there's it's oddly enough, it's usually like music there's such a polarizing theme about music on the board, and then like it's been a while where maybe I just haven't parachuted in at the right time, but like when the wrestling crowd's posting about wrestling, and then someone is like, oh, this is fun, a bunch of grown men talking about like people in their undies, like
right.
Wrestling is like the anti-wrestling crowd fighting with the wrestling crowd. Yep. And then like, I used to be like I never got into The Walking Dead. I think that show, so I'd always be like,
I think it's still on. That's what's crazy.
On with like the make-believe, make-believe zombie show, and then be like, whoa, like what's wrong with liking the make-believe zombies when people are like, I can like make-believe adults in their underwear fighting. I can watch make-believe zombies, and it's like, well, what's more real? And everybody like, is Jurassic Park more realistic than Rookie of the Year because dinosaurs are real? Versus like a 12-year-old like pitching in the major leagues. It's all relative. But that's But the difference between that and Brian in New Haven, like Brian in New Haven just has arguments with himself. I'm gonna get back to him at some point. He's got spies.
Yep, he sure does.
But with the board, it's a conversation between people, and some days there's a lot of posts, some days there's no posts. Not to get deep about the board's always going to be around. The characters change, the characters come back, characters leave. I didn't post for a long time last summer. And then as I actually liked my job where I was 2 years ago, so it was busy, so I didn't post as much. Now that I'm in this job that I don't like, and I post more.
Did you change jobs, Andy? I didn't realize that because you had that job with the one company.
Yeah, not to get too. The job last year, we got bought out, and there's a whole bunch of like stuff, and so I was getting paid at one point to basically like do nothing, but not do nothing. I still had to do accounting stuff.
Right.
But then it got to the point where I really didn't have to do much, and it was in the summer, and so I was like, I didn't post. I was like, I don't even have to pretend to be in front of a computer. So why am I? Even though the board's the board, I'm like, I'm not gonna post because I can be like playing video games or golfing instead.
Right.
Or eating. I don't really like to do much besides eat and gamble. But all that to say is the board has a heartbeat, and Tommy goes away for a while. Tommy comes back. Yachts doesn't post, but Yachts is always around. The spirit of Yachts lives.
Yep.
And last year when we were parachuting, COVID. I don't know if SJR was in the chat, but like SJR is right. That's Smooth Jerry Recco. Like we've all been impacted by COVID one way or the other. Like my brain is stunted. Psychologically, we might not see it on the primary level, but it's affected us to a degree, maybe even 3 degrees. And the board was very cantankerous last year because everyone was going through some things that they really hadn't gone through ever. And I think now that, like, you remember Mike with Chris was like, we need sports to get back on its regular heartbeat. And it was like, Mike, what the fuck are you talking about? But he's right. Like, the fact that we have like a real baseball season, I know some of the things about baseball are still stupid with the 7-inning double hitters and the extra inning rules, but like the fact that the Dodgers are, the fact that people are going to the games, the fact that we're going to have 162 games, and it's not it's a real regular baseball season. The fact that the winter playoffs in hockey and the NBA, though they're not at its like 100% regular schedule, the fact that they're playing in the spring, we are getting back to like a regular rotation. The golf majors are on its regular rotation. So the board has more material to discuss, and it's not just the everyday. And I know TI and TR both say I beat a dead horse, and I do, but like there's less likelihood of everyone beating the dead horse because there's sports now. There's more sports on. Whereas last summer and last spring, it's just like Facci. Oh, wait a minute. Sometimes we still do Facci. But it's more minimalized. Now we can do like, Cole is not an ace. Yankees aren't juggernauts like the Mets. There's more, now that the Knicks are in the playoffs, will bring some juice.
Yeah.
There's
Celtics really gave him a tough time though in the fourth quarter. That was a
yeah. I didn't even watch.
Yeah, I mean I wasn't watching a lot of it. But it was interesting though. It was like a 4-point game late, but you're right.
I would say I don't know. Tommy would probably get offended, but like the Knicks. When the Knicks are good, people come out of the woodwork.
Yep.
I guess that's just a thing. And I love making fun of the Nets. Like, I don't think the board have like a real Net fan. T.I.
I thought
says
Gamble was one, wasn't he? And
Gamble
T.I. too?
Yeah, but Gamble hasn't posted in a while.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Gel. I think they still need to gel. No, T.I., my God, that guy is something else. he loves to instigate, which is cool. He's like, yeah, I used to be a big Net fan in high school. That's always funny when he talks about how he used to root for the Nets. He must have been a big Kerry Kittles fan.
Keith Van Horn, right?
Keith Van Horn.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not a big Net fan. But I think the Knicks being back in the playoffs, like, will bring some NBA interest to the board because NBA interest on the board. I know RKO is a big Cavs fan. No, he's a big LeBron fan.
He's a LeBron fan, so he's probably sort of a Laker fan at this
Hashtag
point.
my babies. Hashtag my babies. But like one of my biggest pet peeves about the NBA, well, not the NBA, but like the people are like, oh, only the fourth quarter matters, and like they go out of the way to just say like, oh, NBA is a fourth quarter only league. And it's like, I hate the NBA, but let me just waste air and energy and like saying how much I hate the NBA, especially in the playoffs. Like, I don't follow Monzo on Twitter, but Brian Monzo is like the exact type of guy that will always be like, yeah, you won't see NHL guys, like, they give 110% every night. Every night. Every player in the NHL gives 110% every night. They play with broken bones. Broken bones. The NBA, they sit out with hurt feelings. You don't see that in the NHL. It's like, we get it. You don't like the NBA. Like Boomer Esiason.
Same thing, yeah. And that's, by the way, that's bullshit. Because I've seen plenty of games. I follow a hockey team all year, and you see plenty of games where they don't give a lot of effort. It's a long season. It'll happen. So I don't buy it.
I'm guessing Monzo probably thinks it's like out of the entire realm that like hockey team would ever like tune out a coach. And then like,
oh my God, that's
what about all these coaches that get dismissed because quote unquote they need a new voice in the locker room, whatever.
Mm-hmm. That's right. We've seen it a bunch of times. Like, in fact, I was actually surprised that like Tortorella took so long to get fired. I thought I thought that team tuned him out like a quarter of this way through the season. Like, it happens every year. It's like, I don't really see there much distinction in that scenario.
No, hockey guys. I mean, they're tough motherfuckers.
Yeah, no doubt. But I'm just saying, like, the idea that they play every game like 100%. Like, it's. I mean, they play hard, but
Mondo said so.
Yeah. But listen, look, I respect hockey players are very tough. I actually do think this is kind of a meme, but this is kind of true to me. They probably are the toughest players in sports because of all the stuff they go through, right? Like it's hard to skate. Have you ever tried to skate? Like just to skate, like basic skating? It's really hard.
It's not no walk in the ballpark. I can ski. But skating is hard. Skating backwards. Like my half brother is like adopted. He loves hockey. He likes hockey.
Yeah.
I never got into hockey except like playing on like a little pond in my neighborhood, and I sucked at it. I did rollerblade hockey. I played goalie because I was like, I can't really do anything else. No one wants to be goalie. I'll be the goalie.
How'd you do at the goalie? Were you good?
No.
No, okay.
No, not at all. Not at all. But yeah, rollerblading and ice skating, I didn't do that often. But to your point, yeah, hockey players, their cardiovascular is through the roof, and they have to be strong as fuck.
Yeah.
They have their tolerance to pain is like they lose teeth, they lose blood, they get stitched up, and then they're back. They miss like 10 minutes.
Yep.
It's like 2 shifts. And yeah, like just the energy. I know a lot of people will be like, no, soccer players are in better shape than hockey players. I don't know.
Interesting.
I don't know.
I don't know either. I mean, I don't dismiss the idea because hockey players, I mean, soccer players got to be out there the whole game, basically. Like they don't get breaks, so there's something to that.
And in these hockey games, like I love when they reference like when they eat pizza in overtimes and playoffs. Like, they're just stuffing their faces with pizza. They get carved, and I'm like, where are they getting the pizza?
Yeah.
Where are they getting the pizza? We gotta. If I ever saw like Barry Melrose, I'd be like, where did the pizza come from? Like the 3 overtimes. They're eating pizza and like bananas. So they need energy.
Yeah. Yeah. I am looking forward to the, sorry for that, guys, but I am looking forward to these playoffs. They've been great so far. And I think the same for the NBA should happen, but like, we'll see. Here's a big question. I think the Lakers will get through the play-in round. I don't think it's an issue. And the reason why I think that is because everybody's healthy now. Like everybody's back. They got 2 chances to win a game. I feel like they can do it. So I don't know. A lot of people want them to lose, right? But what do you think is the probability of the Golden State Warriors beating them twice in a row like that? I don't know. I don't see it. But what do you think?
So I thought, are they the 7-8 playing? Is it the 7-8? I thought the winner of that game is like they're in as like the 7th seed, and then the loser of that game has to play the 9-10 game. But I don't know.
Oh, is that right? Okay, that's interesting. Maybe because, like, for example, I know that if the Lakers won that game, they're good, right? They're the 8th seed. Boom, that's it. Or the 7. I don't know, the 8 or 7, whatever.
I think that's it. I think because like they just have the team that wins, they're in as the 7th seed.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. We should check when this program ends. But I was talking to my dad today about the turd that are the Celtics, and I was explaining the format, and I must not have been listening that close. But, like, I know I give you shit about it, but, like, the Lakers, they haven't been healthy, but
right.
When they're healthy, they got AD and LeBron will be fine. And then the Jazz and the Nuggets, they are who they are because they have been like they avoided the injury bug. I don't have like the numbers in front of me, but like I don't think any of their stars. Well, I think no, that's the Nuggets. The Suns, the Funhouse, the Suns and the Jazz didn't have any big injuries this year.
Right.
And then like Holden and Burks, see, now the sun's coming out again, but it's not raining anymore.
Nice.
The Lakers, they'll be like a live dog.
Oh, very much so. Yeah.
And the Warriors, like, they're fun to watch because I think at one point the Warriors, there was some fatigue of like the Warriors, like big picture wise, people were sick of the Warriors dominating.
Right.
I think that's kind of. That's waned a bit because Klay Thompson was hurt for a long time. He's still hurt, and Durant's moved on, and they haven't been like dominant in a while. So now it's like as we are in our little Twitter, like we love to just pile on and we love to hate stuff. We love to hate.
But it's kind of circled around, right? Because now that they've been so bad, now we got to root for them. They're like an underdog now, you know?
Yeah. But it's like I'll be more into the Warrior Laker game tomorrow than Wizards. Or whatever they're called. What are they, the Wizards?
Yeah, they're still the Wizards, yeah.
But
I kind of can we get on that? Just stay on that for a second. Boy, talk about an overrated team. Everybody's talking up the Wizards. Watch out for the Wizards. It's like the moment that people start playing defense on that team, they're not going to do much. I don't think they're going to be around very long.
Well, yeah, I was talking to my buddy of mine on the golf course the other day. He's a Blazer fan. And someone's got to do this. I actually was going to do that next time I'm bored at work, I'm gonna just look up the Blazers records in March and April over the last 5 years and see how good they are. Because I just feel like every year, not last year notwithstanding, but every year the Blazers just become the hottest team in the end of winter, early spring.
Right.
I think I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna look it up and see their record, and I'll share it with the class. And I was talking to my buddy who's a Blazer fan, and I asked him why it's always like that. And he actually didn't answer the question. He was like, the problem with the Blazers is that, like, they're such a two-man oriented team. Like, I know, like, for a while, like, they had Nick Batum and they've had some other guys, but it's like it's the Lehigh guy, LT reference. You know that?
Yeah.
You know that McCollum went to Lehigh?
Yeah. I've only been told about daughter number 3. Was it daughter number 3? I forget which one it was.
Yeah, it's McCollum and Beal, right? Oh, not Beal. It's
lower.
Dame
Time. Yeah.
And so it's like they're so dependent on those two. So like, if one of those guys is off, then you hope the other guy can like carry the load. But what happens when both of those guys are having off nights? They're done.
Yeah.
They're done,
For
right?
2 reasons, right? But number 1, there's not much of a threat on the inside, and 2, because the two of them rely on the outside shot a lot. They really feed off of like 3-point shots and outside shots. So you really, if you're right, like if they're both having a kind of a so-so game, it's a very easy to defend team suddenly. Yeah, it's a good call.
But they're fun to watch.
Oh yeah. I mean, and Dame in a big spot is great. Dame has always been great in a big spot, like even in several playoffs. It's just that there's not enough support around them. You kind of wish that they had like a guy, like a wing or a center that could be better to make them more balanced. But it's just the way it is. But he's really good. Like it's it's not always his fault either. Like he does his part.
And he like my buddy Justin's his name. Like he hated LaMarcus Aldridge. It's funny. Like a few times I've been to Portland. It used to be a winter, like annual thing. Go down to Portland, watch a Blazer game. Like when Aldridge was on that team, like there was like palpable groans whenever he struggled, like in big moments. Like, there's Aldridge coming up small in the big spot again.
That's right. I remember. Oh, that was a while ago. You're right. Talking about small game Aldridge. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's hard to shed that label in the NBA.
Yeah.
Like, like the Clippers have a whole, like Paul George has it now. Paul George has it. Like, for a while, like he had that gruesome injury and no one remembers that anymore. It's just like Paul George is going to come up small. He's got the playoff P nickname, and that's like
sarcastic, right?
Yeah, playoff P. Why are you playoff P?
Right. Yeah, it'll be a fun playoff. So I think we'll see. So are your Celtics in this playoff scenario, or like in the play-in scenario? Oh my God!
Yeah, they play.
You guys too, huh?
They're the 7th seed.
Wow.
I'm. The Celtics. It's like. I used to tweet very angry about them, but now I don't care anymore. Stop betting, or I stopped betting on or against them. But tomorrow I'm probably going to end up betting on it one way or the other.
Yeah, I got you.
Now, like Brown's out for the year.
That's
I don't
tough.
like Kemba Walker. Like their expectations are just so low now at this point. And I like Tatum. They just like. Not to sound like an old man or whatever, but like they never. This was the first team, whatever you want to call it, edition of a team where like you really questioned their effort, and you never like Brad Stevens always got every like. Brad Stevens could squeeze blood out of a stone, like years ago when they made the playoffs as an 8 seed, and Tommy, I remember it was on your show. Tommy was like, name one guy on that team that would be a starter on any other playoffs, and they didn't have any. That was the whole like their team was like they did the most with the least. And now, like, this roster lose talent, but they would just play down to their opponents. They wouldn't respect competition. Respect with the K.
Yeah. Respect with the K.
You have to. You can't just like constantly just give up literally 70 points in the first half to these underwhelming opponents, and then the team, like the Warriors, could get away with that. The Warriors for a while, and that's probably why like some people got turned off by the Warriors, is like they would just kind of play a little too cute, but they get away with it because they win at the end. And I think the Kansas City Chiefs kind of did it this year too. Like the Chiefs got a little cute.
Oh, I definitely saw that. Yeah, definitely.
But you know what? The Chiefs could get away with it.
Yeah.
Now they didn't win the Super Bowl, obviously, but they got
the Super Bowl. Yeah.
Too many games where it's like this shouldn't be like they lost to the Oklahoma. I think the Thunder they ended the season on like a 1-20. They ended the season like 1-21 or 1-20, and like the one win was against the Celtics. Like the Thunder were like openly trying to tank, and the Celtics they beat the Celtics.
Openly trying to tank, but did you see them beat the Clippers yesterday? That was hysterical.
I did. So yeah, like I didn't. Yesterday was like the end of the end of the NBA, but I didn't.
Yeah.
I
think the only reason I'm bringing that up is because it just seemed like the Clippers are trying to dodge like tough matchups by throwing. I'm not gonna say throwing, but they were not putting the same effort. They didn't play any of their starters in yesterday's game, so it's kind of like raises some shenanigans, and I always feel like that'll bite you down the line. We're gonna find out.
Yeah, it's. I don't know what's. The Clippers are just a franchise that I like Doc Rivers, but you know what's weird about, didn't the Clippers win all the regular season games against LA last year, but then in the playoffs they just
well, they didn't even get to LA because like in the playoffs they lost to Denver, blowing a 3-1 series lead. Yeah,
correct.
Yeah,
correct.
That's right. And that was weird. That was weird. It got worse with every game, too. It's like by the time we got to Game 7, you had Paul George hitting the side of the backboard with a shot. It's just like, dude, where's your head?
Yeah, I'll be into the NBA playoffs. Like,
yeah.
I'm not going to watch every dribble, but I'll bet on almost every game.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Like Heat Bucks.
Yeah.
Knicks Hawks. It's Knicks Hawks.
The Knicks are playing somebody. Yeah, still look at me. I'm lost too. I'm like, I don't know. I know they're playing. They probably are playing the Hawks. Yeah, so I'll look into that later. But no, it should be fun. Like it's cool that the Knicks are in the mix. Like they're not what they were, so I'm not gonna be like angry about the Knicks being in the playoffs like I used to. But I'm happy. That's fine. It should be good. Yeah, it'll be interesting. The only two teams I just don't want to deal with right now are the Bucks because I just
drinking with both hands like Trump.
Oh, look at this! Look at this! Nice.
Small hands.
2 hands, small hands. That's too funny. Wait! Before we go, one more thing. Last thing. Let's get into the PGA Championship. Who do you have?
Oh, I don't have anyone. So, did you mean Panther and Checker couldn't meet tonight, or are you still planning on having like a recap show with me?
Yeah, I will still do the recap. Yeah, we're just talking about tonight. Yeah, they'll be here for the recap next week.
Panther, my gosh, he is so. His golf mind is sharp.
Yeah.
John is very sharp too. I'm just like, I just react. I love the course. I think Kiowa is a visual. It's a visual orgy because of all the water, and it's an amazing course. I love watching events at Kiowa. To echo Checker, like obviously the story, like Spieth career Grand Slam going to be a storyline. Rory's a storyline because he's won 2 PGA Championships, one at Kiowa, one at Valhalla. But who's like? Victor Hovland played well, so he could have a good event. I guess it's supposed to be windy. Dustin Johnson's from South Carolina, but his recent form hasn't he's not trending in the right direction. But the fact that he is Dustin Johnson, it's not going to be a shocker if he does show up at Kiowa after withdrawing from some of these tournaments and just being like, I'm ready to fuck. I'm ready to play. I'm going to bring this course to its knees. He's Dustin Johnson. But, if we're looking for not even a dark horse, but someone that might not be on the primary radar, I would say Victor Hovland's one. I would even say Charles Schwartzel, because he's played.
That's a little deep cut right there. Charles Schwartzel.
Charles Schwartzel, deep cut.
Yeah.
Yeah, Charles Schwartzel. Now I'm not saying he's gonna win. I'm just saying.
You imagine if you won.
For someone if you're in a pool and you want someone that's not in the top 5, or you need to, because they depending on your pool contest, you have some of the players that you select have to be in different criteria, top
All right.
20, different pool, different group, so Charles Schwartzel could be there. I don't think, Sam Burns has had a heck of a season, but I don't know if he's going to bring Kiowa to its. I guess the early forecast is calling for wind, high winds, and the course is already going to be playing tough. So, it's now watch Bryson troll everyone and show up and
Did it before. Did it last year. Yeah.
Yeah, he has done it before. But I'm not gonna insert Bryson in my lineup. I'll be playing some pools and contests, and I've already used Rory in my one and done league, but he's playing well. Rory's played well. Spieth is I like Spieth. I'll probably bet on Spieth. A unit.
Okay. Well, he's having a great year. He's so much better than he was. He's having a nice little renaissance for sure. So I think it's a good call.
And the career Grand Slam is a thing because, Rory needs the Masters for a career slam, so that's always a talking point.
Mm-hmm.
Spieth needs a PGA.
What about Phil? Because
No.
Dan Hicks was talking him up, and I'm like, he really thinks
It's
he's
funny,
going to do it.
Yeah, he parachuted in and responded.
Can you believe that? I can't believe he actually replied the tweet. Unbelievable.
So Dustin Johnson at 17-1 is actually good value on PGA.
Yeah. Okay.
Spieth is 14-1. Victor is 22-1.
He's going to win a major. I'm telling you. The two guys that I'm looking at myself, the two guys that I feel like they're going to win a major this year, I just feel like one of them will win before the year's over. John Rahm and Victor Hovland. Those guys.
Victor!
Yeah.
I like Rahm's a little bit of a hothead.
Yes. Yes.
Abraham Answer. I don't know if Abraham Answer's going to win a major this year, but he's 45-1. Why not put a half unit?
Yeah.
Why not put a full unit on that? Zalatoris is on he's everybody's favorite right now. There's just so many good golfers.
Yeah. That's true.
Obviously, there's only going to be one winner. Only one winner. I don't know. Gun to my head. Now I want, looking at the odds, I want to put a half unit on Answer.
Might as well do it. If he comes through, that's a nice payday. It's half a unit, and then he wins. So that's what. That's I'm trying to visualize what that is. $200 or something like that. If he wins.
Depends what your unit is.
Yeah.
If it's an RD unit, it's a bunch. If it's it all depends. Dustin Johnson at 17-1 is. I'd argue that's good value.
Mm-hmm.
Check John can verify.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
Paul Casey at 55-1 is good value.
So the Kiowa Ocean Course in South Carolina, I think it's gonna be an awesome watch. I'm looking forward to
South Carolina.
Yeah. Good time.
You could play it.
Oh, nice. The public course? Cool.
It's a public course.
Nice.
Okay, Mike, I played there. I haven't played. Mike style, you can play there.
I'm out of time. I wish I could have spent more time to tell you about my dad's trip to Whistling Straits. He went to Whistling Straits with his buddies.
Did your dad, he golfs and watches golf?
Yeah, correct. Mm-hmm.
You've never golfed with senior?
No, that's my mistake. We need to make that happen. I think we can go to Vegas and we should make that happen because I think that'd be really fun.
Never. I don't know if you like tried golf growing up and didn't like it, or if you never just. I suck at golf, but like, it's addicting.
Yeah.
It's frustrating. It's addicting. It's frustrating, but it's awesome.
It is.
And it's never too late. It's never too late to just go to the range and just figure it out.
Just look at Floyd. Floyd, like, he's older than us, and he started in only 3 years ago. Now he's hooked. He's all over it. He's been in tournaments and everything.
Funny, a lot of my growing up in high school, whatever. A lot of my friends' parents that are maybe kind of like LTs or whatever. They got status. They didn't They didn't pick up golf until they were in their 40s or whatever, and they got good quick because they probably got addicted to it.
Yep. Yeah, I think it's cool. It does seem like something that we get into in our in our 30s, and that's when you start really getting into it. Like Panther and John and Mike did it earlier, but the two the rest of us we just got into it much. There's just a certain age you hit right at, I guess right around 35. And then it's oh, this is kind of fun. You kind of get into it,
Yeah, I worked on a golf course, and in college, that was my 40-hour-a-week job, and in the summers, and on the spring vacations or whatever, and that accelerated my interest. In high school, I also worked on golf courses as a caddy, and in the dining room as a busboy, and I actually I hated golf as a kid. All these fucking old crusty men, hoity-toity, and then Tiger, and then working on the golf course. Actually, hey, you work on the golf course, you get free golf, and you could even the golf pro there was I'll actually give you a couple lessons because you're not you're a nice guy. I'll give you a lesson.
Oh, you did your solid. Look at that.
There's a Minko joke somewhere, but no. And I wow, golf is fun.
Yeah.
When you're and then as you get even older, it's oh, and there's a lot of nuances to golf. We see it now. Captain is just
isn't that crazy?
Captain's got the golf bug.
Oh yeah.
Captain speed, and it'd be fun to golf with Captain.
Oh, yeah.
Just pump up the tunes and drink more than a few beers, and once you get the golf bug, if you get the golf bug, it's hard to shake off.
Nice. I think that's a good one to end on, Andy. This has been a really fun time. I hope you enjoyed it too. And
I did. I know I'm sure if you had any structure, the structure gets thrown out the window because it sounds like people were actually asking questions, and in the chat, if there wasn't any chat participation, we could have talked about the playoffs and stuff like that. But I like the free flow, random questions format. Next time, get Tommy on.
Yeah, I'll be more prepared next time. I'll definitely.
Oh, I meant Tommy would be a good random question guy.
Oh, I see what you mean. To get him for yeah, absolutely. It's just, he's got family and stuff now, so I'll definitely reach out. We'll see. We can always work out a time.
I'm sure there'd be a lot of guys on the board. Sharon would be a good random question.
We've done it. Yeah, he's great. He's very good for that. Yeah. Good call.
Sharon is the real. The 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon could be the 6 degrees of Sharon.
Yeah, that's true. He's known a lot of people.
The local, I just like saying the tri-state area because it's I don't say the tri-state area at all. in the Bulls, very tri-state area centric. So he knows everyone in the tri-state area
Yeah, true story.
too. Like it all comes back to Malloy, Archbishop Malloy. Queens and really would be a good random question.
Oh, you know that I have never tried that. That's a great idea. Oh, really? For random questions is a great idea. That's a really good call. Good thought. Good call.
Take notes.
Yeah.
Pay attention.
Pay attention. You got it. Did the Yankees end up winning that game? Like I don't even know what happened there.
I don't know.
Nope, they did not win. It is.
Have the Yankees lost 2 in a row now?
Yeah, because they lost on Sunday, right? So yeah, crisis, crisis in the Bronx.
It's absolutely a crisis. The Mariners are losing. See, the Mariners are letting the Tigers.
That's pathetic. Look, I know they call it Kalenic. He's looking good, but dude, that offense is rough. That is a tough offense.
The Mariners offense, yeah, it's very feast or famine. Like Haniger's got 12 dongs. They're very. I mean, I think it's a major league symptom. Like. It's feast, home runs. Like last against your Dodgers, the game that Bueller pitched, and the Dodgers came back in the 7th, 8th innings. Like the Mariners had 3. They only had 4 hits, but 3 runs. But you're not going to win many games when you're only getting 4 hits.
No. I've seen. Yeah, you're right though. Like they really do. Vogelbach used to do that, and now it's like Kyle Lewis. They're just all like, basically it's like, we're going to try to hit home runs. And they have no shame in like it's like striking out completely in that scenario. And you can get some ugly results when you do that.
I have the Mariners as an over 17.5. I like that bet. And they're on pace still. They're 21-20. And they're, we say it. We actually don't see it every year because some teams are really boring. I think they have potential. The guys that they got from San Diego, they're actually interesting. They're interesting this year. Like
they're only to your point though, to back you up. I mean, they're about 500, and they just called up a guy. There is a chance they can be. Yeah.
Like little Marco's hurt. They got some injuries.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about the Mariners is like they're usually like nameless and faceless. And I know like Captain is always like, yeah, no one gives a fuck about Seattle. And to a degree, he's absolutely 100% right. When your team has like zero identity, especially post, they're just, as Mike always said, like it's one thing to be bad. It's another thing to be like boring and bad. And the Mariners for a while, like they're boring and nondescript, and like, and in baseball you can just get completely buried. Baseball is already a very regional sport as it is, and like the only boring teams that still get attention are the Cardinals for all the wrong reasons. Like the Cardinals are boring.
Yeah.
All this to say, the Mariners this year, like with Kelenic, and Kyle Lewis, who was the Rookie of the Year last year in the weird season. Ty France is a guy that I think Mike would like.
Yeah, well, he got him. He used to be in San Diego, right? Like he used to be Padre. Yeah.
He got hurt, but before he got hurt, he was showing flashes of brilliance. And Haniger is a good guy, a good player.
Seager,
but he got hurt again.
No,
Corey Seager got hurt. I've got him confused. The Mariners have some building blocks.
Mm-hmm.
Their pitching is, Sheffield's good. I think it's time for Sheffield to make another step. It sucks though because they got Paxton got hurt, and Paxton when he's not hurt.
He got hurt early, like it was like spring training. He got hurt.
First start of the year.
Oh, okay. It's pretty close.
So
to
he
that.
was he did get hurt in spring training, and we started the season on the IR or whatever, and then his first start he got hurt.
Oh, okay.
So he's cursed, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's too bad. I think he would have been a good fit if he was healthy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well.
But we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
You going on any games?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
Like the way they've like released tickets, they're actually kind of selling out because their inventory is so limited, right? 9,000, 10,000.
Right.
And then like the first people that can get them are like the season ticket holders, and then the rest can go to the general public. But because of everything being so uncertain until last week or whatever, like they were only had tickets available through like June 1st or whatever. But now that things have changed, I might get tickets.
Okay.
Might.
Well, Andy, I think it's going to be it should be a more fun summer than last year. That's easy to say. Now that's very easy to say. But I wish you the best. It's really good to catch up with you, and I'll see you again next week.
Yeah, recap show. If I'm getting the invite, I'd like to partake. I know John and Panther can do the heavy lifting, and I can just chime in and be like, Doris Burke said this, Dottie Pepper said this.
Nah, I'm down. I'm down with that. That's gonna be a fun week. So you're definitely invited. You're in. I'm giving you the invite for sure.
Sounds good.
All right, man. Well, good luck with your bets too. I'll catch you later. Yeah.
You too, and thanks everyone for your questions. I'll see everyone on the board tomorrow, at least in the beginning part of the day before, work happens.
All right, my friend. All right, my friend. Well, take it easy. I'll catch up with you. Anything else?
All right.
I'll catch you then. Bye.
All right. Good night, everyone.
Night, everyone.
See you, Dave.
See ya.
Thanks for having me.
You got
Peace.
it. All right, that's Andy in Seattle. That was we haven't really done like a full random question show with him in a while, and that was really cool. So thank you, and I mirror all of his points. Thank you so much for all the questions. This was a really fun show to do. And with that, I say goodnight, and thank you very much for listening once again. We might be back on Wednesday night for a quick NBA show. Just a little bit of an update on the play-in round, and then we might do a baby first round preview based on what happens in the play-in round. And so I'm working with Chris in Georgia. We'll see if we can get together on Wednesday night for another live show with the NBA stuff. But otherwise, enjoy the rest of your week. You can also catch me on Twitch and my spin-off program, Davey's Eating a Sandwich. I'm Dave Medina. Please have a great rest of your evening, and we will see you next time.